The following program is brought to you with limited commercial interruption.
Today's broadcast is being simulcast in broken English.
I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world.
Welcome to the show that we're doing right now.
What the hell are we doing on this show?
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Let's go.
What is this?
Giggity, 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 goo.
Who else but
The Q.
it's showtime. Gentlemen, let's get down to business. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah, I can dig it, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Qnow. You're listening to the best pop culture, current events, current affairs show east or west of that Mississippi River, hailing from the great city of St. Louis and worldwide at theqnow.com. I am your host, Mark Bland, joined today by none other than one of my favorite people on this planet, one Mr. Jason Kull.
Hello.
What is going on, Mr. Kull?
Nah, you know what? I'm doing this show.
You're doing this show. You're doing this show today. And by the way, you are listening to us on 1280 AM KYRO. That's 105.3 FM every single Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time right here. Or you can download us every single week. Brand new episodes. Go to Apple Podcasts. Go to Spotify. I don't care where you go to get your streaming. You can get the show. You can listen to it anywhere. Download it, rate it, review it. If you think the show stinks, give it 1 star. Tell us we suck. I don't care.
Do it.
It doesn't matter to me. They pay me here at Fox News either way. Do you understand? Got it. All right, here's the deal. Our guest today is Anthony Nolen of St. Andrew's Cinema, the Dollar Show institution in St. Louis, St. Charles, Missouri, to be exact, is here with us to discuss what is up with the property and what the future holds. And I would like to talk to him in here in a second. Iron Maiden, once again, does not make the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I asked AI why that was. I asked AI. I went to ChatGPT. I asked it why that was. And they answered. Plus, we're doing a tournament of pop culture on the show. Best teen movies. At least we are doing the first of 4 rounds. And I can't wait for that. Jason, are you excited for a new tournament of pop culture?
Always excited for tournament of pop culture.
Now, we've been doing the ranker review lately, but we're going to switch gears for a little bit for a few weeks. We're going to switch over to tournament of pop culture.
But we got a third guy now, so we can do that.
We do have a third guy. And that third guy, ladies and gentlemen, is joining us right now. His name is Anthony Nolen. And welcome to the Qnow, Anthony. How are you, sir?
Me. I'm doing good.
Get that microphone down close to your mouth. Come on, man. Talk to it. Yeah, now we can. It's Verizon over here, baby. We can hear you now. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of
I appreciate having me on.
Let's start off with a little bit about your background. You a St. Louis kid?
I am.
Born and raised. All right.
Born and raised right out of Delwood.
It's almost like we're the same person. It's like North County just running through our blood at all times.
I think you're a little taller, but yeah, about the same person.
Jason's from way more North County than we ever were. His North County's way north of our North County.
Where's that?
Iowa.
Iowa.
So he's way north
Way
of
north.
our.
Right
way
in the
north.
tip, though. So I've been around Missouri my whole life.
Just the tip?
Just the tip.
All right.
It's a game I like to play.
All right, fair
especially in
enough.
Missouri.
That's weird. That's a
where
weird.
you do it.
Don't do that in Missouri.
game.
It's a weird
do
game
it.
in
Do it,
Missouri.
kids. Give in. Give in.
Jesus. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we are welcoming Anthony Nolen today because Anthony, you are now the proud owner of one St. Andrew's Cinema, which if anyone out there doesn't know, me and Anthony, we both I made the North County reference once already. We grew up in North County, St. Louis. And up in North County, St. Louis, there was the Cross Keys Dollar Drive-In, or Dollar Show. It was the Dollar Show at Cross Keys. Or there used to be at Village Square, a very affordable movie theater that you could go to and watch movies that was fun to watch back in the day. And I'm sure that some of that, and we'll get to that in a second here, might have played along in your kind of nostalgia, your background of what led to eventually the St. Andrew's Cinema, which for St. Charles, which is a western county of the St. Louis area, not too far from the North County we grew up in, but still a western county, more rural area of the St. Louis area. they had St. Andrews Cinema, and it was the dollar show. Everybody knew about the dollar show, right?
And the
Everybody went.
Fun fact about that: the Mosley brothers owned all three of those at the same time.
Wait, all three of the
dollar
Cross
shows,
Keys,
the Cross Keys, the Village Square, and
it was the
St. Andrews.
Mosley brothers.
Yeah.
Who are I don't think I've ever heard of the
I don't know.
Mosley.
They
They're
were rivals of the Isley brothers.
Ooh, the Isley
pretty
brothers.
nasty.
They're pretty nasty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's tough.
competition.
You know, though, the St. Andrews is the type of theater that is in every town. Because, like, giant, like,
That's a good
16
point.
cinema AMCs, they're not in every town. But one like St. Andrews is.
Yeah,
Big
that
cities have
2-screen, 3-screen.
Little
kind of
towns have
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Like, my little town we had 3 theaters.
And unfortunately, all
three-
the dollar
three
shows
screens.
are now closed everywhere.
Yeah, that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
The
that's
St.
kind
Andrews
of.
was the last dollar show in the United States.
So I guess the big first. Okay, all right. So as the St. Louisans that we are, and knowing the St. Andrews Dollar Show as well as the other dollar shows, first question: how much of that nostalgia of that Cross Keys, that Mosley Brothers own Village Square, played into what eventually would be the decision to buy the St. Andrews Cinema?
Probably zero.
Absolutely nothing. Nothing came to mind on that, huh?
I love movies. It's my favorite pastime. I've always gone to the movies. I go by myself on Tuesdays or Thursdays here and there.
So you know
just to
what-
get away from the kids.
So you know teen movies then, right? Like you've probably seen all the teen movies.
Yeah, all through your life.
All of them.
Right?
That's
Probably.
right. Okay, so
Now
since you're
remembering them, that's going to be the feat.
Since you're a cinephile, oh no, these are big time movies. So like, wait, listen. So this tournament of pop culture we got going on tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the best teen movies. And the first
So much
bracket.
fun.
Let's see here. Let's see what the first bracket is. High school dramas, right?
Ooh, I
High
got
school
one for
dramas.
you. I got
That's
the best
all
It could be
drama.
on the list. There's 16
one.
of
You've
them
already
here.
got your list? Okay.
Right now, mind you, this is one section of a 4-section pie. As you can see, this is like the March Madness. Okay,
Yeah, I see that.
So it is one section. There's going to be another section here, and section here, and they're all going to combine for a major championship. Hopefully, you will be a part of our discussion tonight when it comes to these teen movies, because I think that you're going to have a blast doing this.
Let's do it.
With that being stated. These are high school dramas, specifically right here.
That's all
now,
high school
the
is.
movie that you're talking about, we'll talk about all that when we get to the teen movie section and the tournament of pop culture. Sir,
Perfect.
okay, you're trying to drive us too fast. I see how you are, but
Foot on the gas.
I do love that. No, I love the fact. I love the fact that you're a cinephile. Like I
Yep.
think that is awesome, and so that starts at a young age.
Very young. Yep, my whole life.
Who was
Loved it.
the biggest influence? You say mom, dad, brother, sister.
Oh, probably my dad. We used to sit around and watch movies all the time. Go to the convenience store or the local movie rental place before Blockbuster, and
Sure.
it started before Blockbuster.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right. Now, Dad's still with us.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we still go to the movies with Dad? Do we ever just go and grab Dad for an afternoon on like a Sunday and just
Haven't
just
in
go
a
hit the
long
movie?
time.
You should do that.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
I'm serious.
If
like,
I can get him out of the garage, yeah.
I think you could.
He's a workaholic.
I think you could. But listen. Every year there's going to be some movie about cars. Some type of car movie will come out, right?
That's where we grew up.
All right. So if cars is where it's at, right? Wait, are you a Ford or Chevy guy? That's
Doesn't
gonna-
matter.
It does matter to me because I don't
Chevy,
swap
baby.
I don't swap no coyotes. They do. They'll take a coyote and LS swap it. I won't. Because that's just trash. I'm not even grabbing a coyote in the first place. So yeah, I'm a Chevy guy. Come on now.
Yeah.
I think if you're North County, you should be Chevy, unless you
you
claim
should be.
unless you claim Bigfoot.
Yeah.
If
Well,
you-
that's a different story, yeah.
Right.
Bigfoot. I grew up around Bigfoot. That's the only Ford truck I like.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Like literally, if
Best
you're a
one
North
ever
County
made.
kid, that you'll accept Ford for one reason and one reason only. If Bob Chandler drives Bigfoot up, you'll be like, all right, he's in. He's cool. Outside of that, we ain't messing with no Fords.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't do that. Now, like I said, Dad, grab him, man. You need to do that. Listen, we never know when things take a turn. We just don't.
That's
We
true.
just literally
Very true.
do not know. And if every day is a day things are going fine so far, take advantage of one of those days. Grab Dad. Hit that movie theater, man.
head out.
Take him to the new movie so he can see with the legs kicked up and
Oh,
the
yeah.
recliner and all. He might not have even seen that yet. Dude, my dad, when I took my two father-in-laws to see that Top Gun movie when it came out last year
Oh, yeah.
for the weekend when it opened
Yeah.
up and all that, we went, and my father-in-law hadn't been to a movie theater in God forever.
Right.
Forever.
Yeah.
And he's in there putting the recliner. He's like, is this
Right.
heated? Like, it was heated. It was blown away. And he's like,
They make it
wow,
now so you
like,
fall
like,
asleep.
yeah, well, not only that, but it's also nice and wide. So you feel like you're kind of in your own little area a little
Yeah,
bit. It's kind
comfort.
of spread out. It's comfort. I do like theaters today compared to when we were growing up, but there's nothing that will change your mind about a movie more than a regular seat. Not these special seats like they got nowadays, like a regular row seat style theater like the old St.
Stadium
Andrews.
seating.
Yep, that stadium seating feel. Because a bad movie is worse when you are in a seat like that. Not saying that those are the worst seats ever. They're not. But
Well,
they're
it's
not
not
as comfortable as what we're talking about with these
Yep.
recliner type seats. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, why not? It's just like movies can be determined. There's so much that goes into a good movie. So much that goes into a good movie. Now, St. Andrews Cinema, you obviously had been there at least a few times before you had ever purchased it.
Yeah. My uncle and my cousins lived right behind the St. Andrews Cinema in that complex.
Oh yeah.
That apartment
apartments.
talking about the compartments?
Yeah, they lived in apartments.
They're
and
like units, though. They're like
Yeah, yeah.
Townhomes.
brick.
They're like a
Townhomes,
townhomes
yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah. They lived in there and they moved into a house right behind it in the neighborhood. And that I remember that maybe when I was 7, 8. I've
Right.
probably been there 2 handfuls of times.
Sure.
Right. Well,
You know.
and it couldn't be easier to find. And
Now-
it's
Yeah.
literally right on 70.
Now, do you currently reside in that area?
No, I'm out here in O'Fallon.
You're out in O'Fallon, towards
Yeah.
O'Fallon. All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
So when you bought it, did you get the billboard sign out
I
in front
did.
too? Nice.
You get that too. Now,
nice.
now
You could,
all right.
You charge the other
Those are
tenants.
that's
to
an
put some ads
old,
up
but
there.
that's an old style
Right?
movie
Yep.
Coming
movie
soon.
promotions billboard.
no
Now, question.
No digital.
No digital.
Right?
You should go digital. Think about this. If you did kind of like a low end version of the factory, like I'm not saying that you're low end or your company's low, by no means. I'm just saying compared to like what the factory tried to do for an upscale,
Yeah.
yours more versatile, smaller, more affordable, like but with the same high quality. You could have the movie aspect, obviously at all times, right?
Yeah.
You could always drop the thing and do the movies with the stadium seating and stuff like that. But you could also maybe have a staging area, maybe to do like concerts or something cool like that. I don't know.
I think you're reaching.
You think I'm reaching? I think I'm reaching for
Fishing for clues.
for. Oh well, no. I would think that if a man like yourself has decided that he's willing to come and partake in an interview and discussion with us about it, he's got things he's going to tell us anyway.
Absolutely.
He's going to tell us anyway. Now, so you own a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like the movie You Bought a Farm, so you bought a zoo, or so you bought a zoo. So you bought a zoo. Okay,
Now what
so
are you
you
gonna
bought a
do?
movie
Right.
theater. Now the question is, as a cinephile too, it's gonna be difficult for you, Anthony.
Okay.
What is the first movie that gets played on that screen? Like I feel like
Yeah,
you own it.
Showing like an old movie.
You own
to
it.
break it in, or
Do we break it in with something that's new out in the theaters today, something that people wouldn't be expecting, like
No.
at that moment? Do we go with something more classic?
Nostalgic.
But
Yeah.
is it something personal to you? Or is it something that you would think, the mainstream would want to enjoy
yeah.
that? Like a Dazed and Confused versus, I don't know, something more generic than that.
Yeah, you're getting more specific now. Okay, so you remember the Rocky Horror Picture Show being played up there?
Yeah, they
Sure,
just
yeah, of
had
course.
To stop
Yeah,
that because
yeah.
some kid went and told his mom. That's true.
Is that what happened?
At what's now Marcus?
Hold on. I bet
they-
you know the story, but you know the story too. So I want
Say
to
that
see
again.
a kid, like a younger kid, went there, and sometimes there's flashing going on.
Oh.
Oh
And-
yeah, there's things that happen
Yeah,
within the
and he went home
cosplay and the
and,
acting.
like
yeah.
told his parents. And I guess mom didn't take it very well, and that was old Warenberg, and that's why they don't show it anymore. But I guess Marcus could do it now because it's a different company. But
I guess you're right.
that's
true.
why they didn't. At least that's what I heard. Because a long time ago, I had worked at a movie theater, and I had asked about that.
Now, do you know the story of that?
I don't.
He doesn't.
I
Okay,
don't.
so there you go.
We could bring that back.
We could. Well, Anthony,
Like One Saturday a month.
What about something like that?
The Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Would that be something that could possibly be on the table?
Oh, it definitely is.
Out here,
It's
no
definitely on
one's
the
doing
table.
it.
Yeah,
You have to go down to like probably Del Mar before you find someone.
The last show was in Melba, DeSoto, last weekend or the weekend before.
Okay.
So the gentleman, his name's Tristan Ratterman, and he's our general manager, and he worked there prior to, but he's in charge of Flustered Mustard, and they actually put on the show.
Oh, is that like a group?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the casting group.
Okay.
That runs
Flustered Mustard. I
probably
like it.
one of the best
like
Rocky Horror Picture Show event style
Anthony,
showings.
I feel like this is just a future interview that's going to happen again where Anthony brings
gonna
in
come
Tristan
in.
so we can discuss the Rocky Horror Picture Show in a much more detailed and deeper
We're
version.
gonna come
I
in
think
to
you would
tell
love that.
everyone.
Well, I'm totally
Times
down for
and
that.
dates.
I'm
We're
totally
doing it.
down
We're
for
bringing
that.
it back.
At any time. Listen, I'm all about if there's as a former. I'm not
Current.
a former. I'm a current
No.
professional wrestler.
You're a
Actually, yeah, I was
roster
just
man.
wrestling in February. So, as a current professional wrestler, I understand, and former president with Universal Music Group, I understand promotions and entertainment like the back of my hand. It goes hand in hand, and I'm telling you, Rocky Horror Picture Show. The way that people put that on, it like that is gold. That is money all day
Do it
long.
right.
Print it out.
Get
Swear to God.
real people showing up.
And I'm glad that there are
Lines,
people like you that get that, like that understand that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break here on KYRO. When we come back, more with our friend Anthony from St. Andrew Cinema, and myself and Jason will be back right after this.
Give me a second, I need to get my story straight. My friends are in the bathroom getting higher than the
12:80
Empire State.
a.m.
My lover, she's waiting for me.
KYRO.
Just across the bar, my seat's been taken by
Jason
some
Kull, Mark
sunglasses,
Bland, the
asking
Qnow
about
Show.
the car, and
Hello. Joined today by Anthony Nolen
Hello.
from the St. Andrew Cinema. Is that what's the name? Are you calling it just the St. Andrew Cinemas?
Yeah, we almost
LLC?
changed it, but
Were you were thinking about changing it?
we were thinking about changing it. for
What
a
was on the
minute.
table? What was on the table name wise?
Level Entertainment?
Were you going to call it Level Theaters
Level
or
Cinema.
Level Cinema?
Yep. Different level of experience.
Why did you do? Why was there like a poll taken? Is that why you kind of reverted, or did you just kind of
Yeah,
decide?
pretty much. Internal poll.
Internal poll
Yeah.
with the family and friends and
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah, and in our current GM. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It just when we started
Well,
thinking about
that's a smart
the
move.
nostalgia.
That's it right
and
there.
the name.
That's all it
Everybody
is,
already
you know.
knows where that's at.
Exactly.
They
And
don't
that-
have to
that
explain
was-
it to someone.
You know, the best part
That's
about
right.
St. Andrews too is the fact that in the '90s is when the white flight once again. Remember,
Yeah,
there was
pushed
the white
people even.
flight that moved everybody out towards Spanish Lake in North County.
From Spanish Lake, yo.
And now the second white flight, or as we like to
is
call
where
it,
we're
the migration, was in the mid '90s, right? And that's about the time where the St. Andrews Cinema itself kind of catches that local buzz, that
Right?
lure of being
Yeah.
that dollar movie theater that people kind of know because you got that influx of people that are looking for that. Now it's here. Now they're moving out here. I was a part of the people that moved out that direction at that time period, and so
Everybody loves it.
everybody loves that.
I-
They just love that nostalgia, and I feel like you're ripe for that now that we're 30 years out
Yeah.
from the
that
mid
building's
90s.
53 years old.
There you go.
53 years old this year.
What year did it open?
53 years
80.
ago.
53 years ago. That's 70?
70.
Yes.
1970. When are you planning on reopening?
This year.
This year.
Without putting a date on it, yeah.
You haven't put a date on it yet?
No, when
Do you
it's
even
right.
have a general idea? Like, are you thinking that this is something that you... Okay, let me ask you this question. Do you have a date you want to be open by? Is there a time you would like to be open by for any specific reason?
No
December
specific
31st,
reason.
I guess.
Well, yeah, before December 31st. He's like, yeah.
Way before then. Yeah. Not an actual date.
Because we're in
but-
May now, so I'm figuring within the next month or two, I would hope that you want to try to capitalize so that you can kind of lay some groundwork as fall sets in.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like that's where you can capitalize on some, maybe like once October hits, you could have like Horror Week, and every single night for Horror Week.
We've got some good plans for October.
Yeah, right.
Can I help you with any of this? I'd love to be a part of your team and just play with you guys.
You can
and
just
have fun.
say it in front of him.
Well, yeah, I already do that. He already knows that. I just want to help him.
Like a
man.
haunted house, haunted hay rides.
Oh my God!
We got a lot of stuff coming.
Anthony, we've got to talk, bro. I'm serious. We got to talk, bro. I'm serious.
Then it
We have
ends.
to talk.
Or you can, second run movies now are digital
Now
lot.
that's going to be my question.
because the old time it was print, and by
Right.
the time it made it to St. Andrews, they were a little chopped up.
So yeah, but at the end
the
of
black lines
when you get
over.
to the end of the St. Andrews days, like I guess COVID's what really kind of killed St. Andrews off.
the second time.
So
that
No, it was actually
then
the
were
fire
finally-
they had.
that was the fire. Oh yeah, the fire.
The fire
too.
then
happened
they
in
had the
September
fire,
of
yeah.
19, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about
because
that.
they were going to build again, but then COVID happened. and they
So
just
my
explained.
question is when you go, so I guess the industry has changed in itself, and so you guys have to pay attention to that as you're building out and doing the repairs, building it back up to where you want it to be at. But it also is going to have to hit industry standards for current times. So how do you get the movies? Is that all digital? Do you have to get special digital projectors for your movies so that you guys can work with the industry? Or is this something that you can kind of like handle it your own way?
No, we have all that already. All the equipment we already have. We just haven't put it in the building yet.
Now, is it new equipment that you've? I'm just asking if it's
it's
newer equipment that you bought.
4K.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna say. Like where it was okay. We went digital in the fact that we give you a digital version of this on a hard drive now, and you have to be able to play that through your projector.
From what I understand, that's what
I
it is.
feel like that's probably what it is for the
Each
big
movie is like
theaters.
in like a
Is that
box,
what it
and
is
there's a
for
hard drive.
yours?
Or it's a download.
Yeah,
Or it's
and-
downloadable.
Now, yours will probably be able to play other things, obviously, be able to hook up projectors or DVD players or whatever to it and play other formats. So you can play Blu-rays through your projector or whatever,
Yeah, you could.
all kinds of cool stuff like that. So the movie list that you could play is technically endless, correct? Technically endless.
We have to get
correct.
contracts from all the like Paramount and Sony.
Now,
and Disney.
when you do that, do we go for like the Top Gun 1986 version and we're going for that? Are you looking to maybe get the movie's second run?
Cheaper.
But see, nowadays they go kind of straight, like they'll be at the movie theater for 2 weeks. Then they'll be like, we're releasing on digital on Vudu and this place and that place digitally just 2 weeks after they debuted in the theater because they're trying to keep that revenue coming from the way that COVID changed things. So my theory is you're kind of up in a battle against that because they're saying, hey, listen, don't leave the comfort of your home.
Yeah.
Don't come here. Don't do that. But you're also you're obviously with St. Andrews going to do a lot of different events.
Yes.
But its primary focus should always be that it's a theater, right?
It is. So when you say a theater during the week, we have our what you would call just your regular movie run.
Right.
Right. Some of those days, we won't say which ones. They'll be dollar show days.
Sure.
Because we'll still keep that dollar show. But as far as the weekends go, say Back to the Future weekend.
Oh, yeah.
We run a back to back to back.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
A
All
Chris
of the
Farley
movies.
weekend.
Okay.
Event style.
Right,
Events
where like
to
you get
put-
there at
put the
10 a.m., they
entertainment
start
back
the
into it.
movies, and then
Yeah.
it doesn't end until 10 p.m. So it's 12 straight hours of whatever, like these 6 movies or whatever.
I did that with
Come dressed up,
Okay.
Come
I did
dressed
that
up.
with Toy Story.
We're going
when
to
they
do Toy
released
Story
them on
weekend. We're
Blu-ray,
going to do.
they showed them in the theater 1 and 2, and you could buy
Yeah.
a ticket. I did that with my son.
Yeah.
Right. That'd be actually for you to tag into the bigger theaters. If they've got the new Indiana Jones coming out, like the weekend that it's coming out, you should the weekend before it comes out
show it
say,
on the
hey,
old one.
listen,
Show the bill.
we're going to run all 6 of the old Indiana Jones flicks back to back to back on Saturday or Sunday from blah, blah, blah to blah, blah, blah. Come, dress up, like you said, and then next weekend, go see the brand new blah, 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 blah. I bet you could get marketing money specifically from the movie theater or the movie companies just to promote that type of stuff like that.
possibility.
They might
that
give you
kinda
a break on the cost of the film or
yeah,
something.
they might even throw you a free watch of it. Like, come see it here. That's what I would do. I would be the theater that come see it here first. We'll try to find a way to work out a deal with the movie theater where you can show it one time, debut style, at only your theater. And then the next weekend it rolls out to every Marcus, everybody, like every movie theater in the area. It
That was
rolls
the,
out to in general,
that was
right?
the fun part of
your
working.
theaters where they have to come see debut.
But working in a theater, that was the fun part, was watching the prints, because you had to watch them to make sure they weren't scratched or torn.
Oh, that's
or
right. You
something.
worked at a theater.
Yeah.
I forgot about
So
that.
sitting there watching it, like usually on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, because they usually come on a Mondays, and we'd sit and be able to watch that. I mean, it's not as fun if you're the one that has to watch it to make sure the print's okay. 'Cause
Sure.
you kind of have to like pay attention,
Right, you got to baby it a little
But
bit.
when you're tagging along, because you're off or something, you stop by.
Man, there is so many, and I listen. So we're talking about the St. Andrews Cinema, and I've got a story or two potentially, but I got a story for everyone out
4,
there.
7.
So check this out, Anthony. One night we decide that we are going to go see the movie Super Troopers.
Right.
Now, it's the dollar show. At that time, it's St. Andrews Cinema. Me and my wife are in the early days of our dating. I can't remember exactly what year. Maybe you can look that up for me real quick, Jay. I don't remember what year Super Troopers debuted or came out, but we were...
I think it was before 2010.
Well, yeah, it was definitely before 2010. I'm trying to figure out.
that
It was
part
in the
I know.
early days of me and my wife either dating or maybe when we were engaged. It was in that
Is
time
it
period.
03?
Somewhere around there.
I think
Anyway,
like 03, 04.
I was going to say,
Yeah, I've almost got
it's
it
somewhere in that
typed in here.
range right there. And so, like, me and my wife go, and there is a black family, mom and dad, and like 6 or 7 kids. 2001. Okay, yeah. So it's like literally the first year of
right-
me and my
right
wife.
into it, yeah.
Yeah, we're right in our first year of dating, probably. And so, anyway, they are buying tickets to go to the dollar show. And it's a cheap night to go to the dollar show. But they decide to get tickets to come see Super Troopers, which is kind of odd. And we noticed that because some of these kids are pretty young. We've got the teenager, couple of them, it looks like they're in their mids. But everybody after that is just way younger. We're talking
Right.
10,
A bunch of
8,
nine-year-olds.
couple of 2 and
idea.
3, just young people. So I go to the bathroom and I tell my wife that I'll be out to our seats in just a second. She says, okay. And she goes and sits down in the theater. I go to the bathroom. Well, while I'm in the bathroom, all of a sudden I hear a kid screaming, crying at the top of his lungs. So I'm kind of not sure what to do because, like, I don't know. It's a stall. The kid's in there. The door is closed, obviously. I have no idea what to do. All of a sudden, the dad comes barging into the bathroom, right? Here's the kid. I said, yeah, I didn't know what to do. And he goes, it's no problem. He knocks on the door. The kid is like 8 or 9 years old. Okay? Young man. He pooped himself.
Ah, it happens.
And, it happens.
Right,
it's
shake it
rough.
off.
Everybody deals with these things in life, but it's at the movie theater. It's before the movie started. They just bought tickets. It is obviously not what I would consider the best timing at all for this situation. Well, it gets worse, guys. Because it wasn't just like a log of poop in his pants. This was green apple splatters everywhere.
Nice.
And it's all over the pants, and it's all over the underwear, it's all over the socks, all over the shoes. So they take the shoes off and they're washing them off. They take the socks off, they're washing them off. He's standing barefoot
In a bathroom.
in a bathroom at a dollar theater. Okay?
Amazing.
And he's like 8 years old. All right? Now,
Who hasn't? Come on.
now, I decide to go out and grab some popcorn before I go back to see it. I told my wife that I didn't want none to eat before, but this time I decided I'm going to get something to eat. While I'm waiting, all of a sudden the dad comes out and he goes, hey, to the guy behind the counter. And the guy goes, yeah. He goes, do you got any trash bags? And I knew exactly what it was for. The dirty clothes. Obviously, he wants to take them outside so they can take them home to wash them, whatever like that. And I get that. But then I'm starting to think, I'm like, well, wait a second. If he takes off all that,
All right.
this kid's going to be naked. So we decide to go get our popcorn, go back to the seats. I'm sitting down. The movie started, right? We're getting 5 minutes into the movie. All of a sudden we hear
Yes.
and I hear trash bags rubbing. So I look over and we see the dad come in and the kid being drugged behind him, like the dad forcefully dragging him behind him. Going, come on, let's go, come on. They didn't even take the clothes off the kid. We figured this out about halfway through the movie because people started going out and complaining that there was a smell in the movie The Super Troopers. Now, we were far enough into the back, and if you remember how like the seating was, it wasn't a very deep theater, so it was like what, maybe 15 to 20 rows total. We were in the back.
Was it the small theater?
Yeah, it was one of the two. It was the one off to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one that's kind of wide.
Anyway, that theater they were all sitting in the front row, like looking straight up, the nosebleed type thing, like looking straight up type thing. Everybody could tell it was them. It was the poop. They just took the trash bags, cut the hole for the legs, put it up around the kid, wrapped the dad's belt around it, and then he was just going to sit there in the poop and the filth with soaking wet shoes on, right? They took the socks off, so he never put the socks back on, but soaking wet shoes and watch Super Troopers, and he's 8 or 9 years old. That is his memory of that movie. But that is
poop and
literally what happened. Another night was crazy. That's a really long story. The short of that story is simply a drunk vagrant came in and started sitting in different seats in the movie Queen of the Damned while we were trying to watch it the weekend it came out at the Dollar Show. And people were not happy. There was like 50 people in the theater at the time, and people were just not happy. And this guy was going up and sitting next to girls and guys and people different and just talking to them. And then he started chasing the 16-year-old kid workers out at the popcorn stand. He started chasing them in and out of the other theater and around through like the glass doors, because you could like go in one side, go out the other type situation. I'm over here banging stuff around. Same idea. The one kid locked himself up in the center thing to go up to the projectors. He locked the door at the basement so that nobody could come out because the guy scared him. So I had to like find a way to get this guy out. Then the manager locked the doors from the backside, so I was stuck between the outer doors and the inner door and the outer door with the drunk guy. So I went outside to where the street is, and now I'm outside with the drunk guy, but at least I'm out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And from there, the cops had to come and stuff. So long story short, but it was nuts. And that was literally, that was like a year later at the exact same theater. It was crazy. Yeah. It was crazy.
Good story.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's St. Andrew's Cinema, ladies and gentlemen. No, it is a great story.
Kid.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the Q now. When we come back, more with ourselves. Anthony Nolen as well as Jason Kull will be back on KYRO right after this.
I won't deny it. I'm a straight rider. You don't want to up me. Got the police busting at me, but they can't do
1280 AM KYRO. 105.3 FM, News Radio, KYRO.com, every single Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Myself, that man over there, Jay Call.
Hello.
That gentleman over there, Anthony Nolen.
Hello.
Hanging out with you guys, talking a little bit about local flair and local flavor. We have the new owner,
local and flavorful than St. Andrews.
So now, obviously, Anthony, I'm going to want to be involved in some of these cool events you got coming up. What else do you got coming up? Do you have anything off the top of your head you want to talk about?
Oh, we're going to organize some car cruise meetups, some craft fairs.
Do you get a specific amount of that parking lot to work with yourself, or do you the whole parking lot is the whole lot. Is the? Are you the owner of the whole plaza?
No, so the plaza's in front. Right behind there's about 2.5 acres. That's all.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the side parking lot. I forgot about that. Yeah. I completely forgot. It's been a while since I've been over there.
There's a lot of parking, so we want to utilize that.
Sure.
We want to focus on the community, to tell you the truth. Get everybody. Since COVID, there's not a lot of places you can go to have a good event. I think a lot of that stuff is starting to just come back around, and we just want to be on the forefront of it.
2023 is, in my opinion, the first year since COVID started, okay? Where I feel like we are kind of the way it was.
This kind of feels like 19 a little bit.
Like 19 and before. Like we're kind of back to our norm a little bit. Like this is kind of like ground level. And but here's the problem. Not to talk politics. Obviously, we do talk politics on this show. But, we're getting ready to walk into what could be some hairy politics, some hairy divisiveness, some craziness coming up with the election of 2024. Every few years that happens. And so,
It's like Jeepers Creepers all over again.
It does. Isn't it weird? Trump leaves office, and the first thing that happens, Biden starts up, and it's just like, you know what? We're just going to make all of these few years suck right now. And it's just, now we're finally getting back to it. It's crazy. Do you have any safety measures that you have to implement in response to COVID-19 and how all that went down? Or you guys is that anything that they even ask you about or look at as you're building back to attract these customers?
Never even been a question.
And by the way, what outside of interviews like our show, right? Which this came organically between me and you to have you on the show because I saw something that was posted about something that was happening at your place, and I was like, this guy needs to come talk to me, man. Like this. I'm glad that we had a chance to meet. I really am, because I think it's been fun. But what steps are being taken to like attract customers, like outside of those events and stuff like that? What kind are you guys doing? Like a massive ad campaign or anything? Or are you just doing a lot of social media talk? Like
social media, and all organic.
I gotcha.
All organic. We'll let it grow as it grows. We have our sign. Eventually, we might go digital, but everybody seems to love the nostalgia of everything, so we might keep it.
Is there anything local event-wise that you would say that you are looking to be involved with that could like pique your interest? Maybe like a Taste of St. Charles thing where you're like one of the event locations or something for something.
Oh, definitely could be. As we grow, we'll have more positions to be able to hand out to do things like that.
Now, have you thought about maybe taking it in an Alamo Drafthouse kind of direction, like maybe implementing a bar that could be there or something down those?
Bar on events.
A rolling bar on events.
Yeah, we plan on doing like comedy shows, dinner and a movie, type showings. Maybe some bands inside. Outside.
I don't know how tied into comedy people you are. I'm pretty tied into comedy people. Well, I had a stand-up group that me and another guy had, and we just know a bunch of comedians simply because of the show.
Sure.
Radio's one of those places where comedians love to come and hang out because this is a place where you get to use your mouth.
Yeah.
To entertain. I used to get into arguments with people all the time, like especially comedians that would want to argue with me about this, and I go, "You guys don't understand how hard it is to be a radio broadcaster." And they look at me like I'm crazy, and I go, no. It's not just I sit there. I have to sit there and be witty and funny for 3 hours each time, not just for 15 minutes with a manicured set. I have to take the news of the day. I have to have conversations that are on the fly with people, and all of that I got to make it entertaining in some form or fashion. I have to make it worth people's time.
Absolutely.
To listen to it and want to hear it and see it. And that takes talent. I'm sorry it does. I've seen a lot of radio people come and go. And I'm not saying I'm the best. I am. But what I am saying is that it takes talent to do these things.
Yeah.
It just does. You know what else takes talent, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Rock and roll music.
Rock and roll.
That's right. And there's a group named Iron Maiden. Now,
fantastic metal.
Listen, if it wasn't in the news this past week in the first place, I wouldn't even be bringing this up. If it hadn't been brought to my attention multiple times on this show by other members, namely a Gary Weed, namely a Jason Kull, namely other people that love
unapologetic Iron Maiden fans.
And I'm an unapologetic not fan of Iron Maiden,
That's
and I don't mind
they
it.
exist.
But I have explained to these guys as a former music executive that I understand this business a little bit, and I'm like, they're just not Hall of Fame worthy. They'll get in eventually, but it will not be.
You truly think
it will not be because
Missy Elliott is Hall of Fame worthy in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I first off think that it's now the Music Hall of Fame. I don't think of it as the
joke.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame anymore.
It's a joke.
It's got a rock and roll wing. It's got the other wings.
Yeah,
it's the
should
Music
just
Hall of
be
Fame.
that.
And that's fine. I don't mind it being called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or the Music Hall of Fame. I don't care. It's the Hall of Fame. That's where the music people want to be.
That's what they
got
should
it.
do.
Okay. So instead of slamming Iron Maiden, I decided to go and do something unique. I went to ChatGPT, an AI, and I said, listen, tell me why you think Iron Maiden fails to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I said, do it in the form of a Bible verse, like if you were writing it for the Bible, okay? Because I really wanted this to sink into these people that are just unapologetic, Anthony.
I have
about
never
everything in
ever
there.
used chat. I can't find a free one. I'm not
I will.
paying for it.
I literally will chest chop you right now. I'm not
I've
even thinking
never
about it
used
twice,
it.
bro.
Never used it.
I will so effing do that. Okay. Verily, I say unto thee that Iron Maiden, though they may be of great renown among the children of men, doth not deserve entry into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. For it is written in the Holy Scriptures, Thou shalt not worship graven images, nor bow down thyself to them. Yet, lo, Iron Maiden doth worship graven images in the form of its mascot Eddie, and they doth urge their fans to bow down before him. Moreover, it is said, Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Yet Iron Maiden doth bear false witness against the sacred and holy book, the Bible, by depicting its pages torn and defiled in their blasphemous music videos. Thus, let it be known that Iron Maiden doth not deserve entry into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, for they have strayed far from the righteous path and have turned their backs on the word of the Lord. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you're trying
That is different.
If you are trying,
Way to go, ChatGPT.
if
Good
you
job.
are trying to figure out, ladies and gentlemen, why Iron Maiden, and you're sick of Mark Bland just going, hey, they're not that great, and you guys keep making that sucky band look a lot more polished, okay? That's why ChatGPT and AI thinks Iron Maiden shouldn't be in the Rock and Roll Hall. Torn Bible pages. Hey, listen, they have arguments.
I don't know what video they're talking about.
They have arguments here that are fair. Eddie the mascot, that is someone that the graven that they want him to bow down to. Like, these are all arguments that are viable when it comes to
It's valid.
the scripture in the Bible.
It's
like
valid.
it really is valid. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to start our tournament of pop culture. That's right. We are going to be doing. Listen to me over here. I'm still talking like I'm on the Bible stuff. Okay. We are going to be doing a teen movie bracket, a huge 4-week battle until we get to week 5, where we will have the final 4 as well as the championship. Maybe we have Anthony come back for that. Maybe. I'm not saying we will, but I'm just saying have maybe this man start it off and then come back for the finale so that he can figure out if the one that was on his week
Maybe
ends
the
up
winner. He
wins.
shows at the Andrews.
Yeah, he's saying, yeah. Maybe we do this with
You
whoever.
can call it the Qnow winner.
Listen. I think that that's a great idea. Listen, Anthony, whatever movie wins our teen movie bracket, I want to do a Sunday afternoon showing of that movie at the St. Andrews Cinema when it opens up. I want to do a Sunday afternoon, the Qnow Teen Movie Champion, or maybe possibly by that time, depending on where we're at, maybe it's a different movie. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's a different bracket. Like, show one of our tournament of pop culture brackets there. Or actually, maybe we do like a thing where we come, sit down, grab Anthony, make him sit with us, the 3 of us in front of everybody. We will show one of the winners of one of our past things, and we'll do a bracket breakdown right there live in front of an audience. Have the whole audience vote with us if they like to come through for an event.
It'll be fun.
Could be fun. All right.
Nailed it.
So we are going to do teen movies, and we have 4 sections. I don't have the other 3 sections in front of me, but today's bracket is the high school drama section.
Yeah.
That's right.
High
The
school
movies
drama, you gotta love that.
where there's drama and high school are all involved. Okay? Now, these are all very popular, well-known, successful movies in the teen franchises, okay? There's nothing here that an Anthony which, by the way, you're a cinephile. You should know all these movies. And there's nothing here that a Jason Kull would not know. We have 16 teams. Let's get to the game. All right? So, in our first round, I feel that we actually do kind of have a heavyweight matchup.
All right.
Something that if I was just doing a 16-team thing, it wouldn't surprise me if these two ended up matching up and in some form of battling. And because we have another 4 weeks of different teen movies to go. Who's clicking something? Is somebody clicking something?
That was me.
Don't be doing that clicking, man. Clicking stuff. All right. Here's the deal. Some of these movies, I feel like they could have been in just like a regular like breakdown bracket, but there were so many teen movies, I had no choice. I had to like pair it out a different way. So This is the high school drama section. And here we go. Round one, we're going to start off with Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a classic.
Right.
Matthew Broderick. We get Cameron kicking the Ferrari out or the Porsche. Was it Ferrari or Porsche? I can't even remember.
Ferrari.
It is Ferrari. That's right. Kicking the Ferrari out the plate glass window, which blew my mind, man. When I saw that,
run him back.
Oh, my goodness. And you know what? You could. That's the beauty of that. Back then, that was a way to run the odometer backwards, but you can't do that with cars anymore. I think that stopped in the 70s, actually, something like that. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a classic in its own right, and something we all respect and love, is going up against Napoleon Dynamite.
I don't see that being a competition at all.
You don't see that being a competition at all. Now, Napoleon Dynamite, John, what's his name? What was the name of that guy? With the curly hair, played Napoleon John.
Yeah, he
John
was Napoleon.
Oh man, look it up, find it for us. That's your job. You're our social media engineer and our lookup guy. You know this, Jay. Come on now, bro.
I'm just not sure. I'm thinking Napoleon Dynamite as a teen movie, and
it is a teen movie, though.
I mean,
he's in high school.
There's teens everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And listen, here's the thing. We don't think of it as teen movies because when we think of teen movies, we're going to think of the 80s, like the Breakfast Club stuff. We're going to think of the 90s and the stuff that comes out then, like
Teen Wolf.
like American Pie and stuff like that, or Teen Wolf. We're not going to be. What's that? John Heder. Yeah, John Heder. Yeah, that's right. We're not going to be thinking about when Napoleon Dynamite comes out. It's like, what year? Does it say what year it is?
2004.
2004.
Wow,
so by 2000, but that's what I'm saying. By
next January.
There you go.
Yeah.
See if you can get one of the cast members to come in, like Uncle Rico. See if you can get Uncle Rico to come and sign autographs.
Footballs.
Right.
Yeah, why not, dude? That would be it. You could have Fox. Listen,
Then show movies from 1982.
Tim Azell is looking for stuff to do every day of the week and all day
He'll
long.
show up early, too.
He'll show up early. He'll pray to God. He'll do everything you want. Other places will show up too. They'll just text women from their phones illegally. We don't want any of that going on at all. So I'd stray far from that if I were you, Anthony. Napoleon Dynamite versus Ferris Bueller. You're right. I don't think that, like, technically there's like a much of a battle here. I feel like it's Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
It's a knockout.
Pretty clean. But I think that we just don't vibe with the Napoleon Dynamite because it comes out at a time when we're just older. Like by 2004, I
had a kid by then.
It's more of a comedy to me.
Yeah, you had a kid by that time.
Yeah.
2004 might have hit around you might have been able to in that area.
Yeah,
possibly.
2004.
I don't know. I was almost
right
30.
out of high school.
I was 28. I was almost 30 years old. So that wasn't speaking to me. 2004 is the year I get married. Yeah. Those movies aren't speaking to me at that time. So I'm not like real vibe to go see anything past that time that's teen oriented anyway.
I mean, I loved it. I laughed and I thought it was great, but I didn't think, wow, this is a nice teen movie.
All right. Our next one, American Graffiti versus Say Anything. American Graffiti, Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Richie Cunningham's in that movie also.
Yes.
That's kind of the movie that leads to and vibes for how Happy Days kind of takes from that movie and becomes the thing that it is. As well as the actors too.
Yeah.
That's also
That's how we ended up getting Han Solo. Was
I think it's. Can you look it up real quick? I think the director is.
It's George Lucas.
George Lucas, yeah. So you've got a classic from George Lucas of all people.
Of all people.
That guy. Your Star Wars.
Literally
guy.
the only reason they gave him all.
He's
that
going up
leeway
against
to
Say Anything though. That's
classic.
That is a
Holding up
classic.
the radio, listening to Peter Gabriel.
Man, that's a closer battle, I think, than I originally thought.
But
I thought American Graffiti would be a bigger knock.
Graffiti is pretty good.
I'm going to put mine on Graffiti.
I got to put my money on Say Anything. I got to do Say Anything. He's going Graffiti. The reason I say Anything is because you do get the classic scene. Like, there's nothing out of American Graffiti that stands out so much that the movie
more like the
is in
cars
doubt. But the scene of the boombox over the head by John Cusack,
Yes,
that is
holding
like
it up.
one of the most classic recreated things from the pop culture of the 1980s. I have to go Say Anything.
I'm in agreement with you.
Fair enough.
Although
There it is.
American
All right.
Graffiti just seemed more like a movie for boomers at the time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
My dad's age.
We're going to take a quick break here on the Q now. When we come back, more with the Tournament of Pop Culture Best High School Teen Movie Drama. First week of our teen movie bracket for Tournament of Pop Culture. We'll be back right after this. 1280 AM KYRO. Mark Bland, Jason Kull. The Q now. We are doing the Tournament of Pop Culture with our friend Anthony Nolen of the St. Andrews Cinema. And we are now to Varsity Blues, Jason.
Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues, an amazing, a 10. I give her a 10.
Remember when they go to that strip club?
That's the fat kid. I love that guy, man. He was fantastic, dude. I'd give her a 10. He is dead.
Right.
I think, is he?
Yeah, he died.
Did he die?
Very good possibility.
Yeah, he had a heart attack.
Look that up.
Year.
You're our guy who looks things up. We keep saying this on the show, Anthony. I don't think he's catching on. It's only been like years now. Say anything. Oh, I'm sorry, that was our last one. Varsity Blues. Varsity Blues versus that James Dean classic. And it is a high school drama. If you ever get back to the days of when James Dean was at the top of the food chain, Rebel Without a Cause is a high school teen drama. And it is going up against Varsity Blues. I got to go Varsity Blues here. I feel like Varsity Blues, it just spoke to me a little bit more, you know? That comes out in those late 90s.
Made you want to play football.
It did. It comes out in those late 90s, early 2000s, like where you get American Pie, you get this movie, you get a bunch of movies. Friday Night Lights comes out at that time.
Yep.
You get a bunch of different little movies that pop up in the teen, say anything, pop up in the teen category. I'm going Varsity Blues. What about you, Jay?
Well, R.I.P. Ron Lester. 2016.
He passed in 2016.
Yeah, I thought it was like last year. That's a long time ago.
Last year feels like a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, he would...
Who was it that started Varsity Blues? It was the guy from Dawson's Creek, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
James Vanderbeek. There it is. Yep. Holy crap. I just pulled that on my book.
I'm also going to go Varsity Blues.
You're going to go Varsity Blues. So there's two. Anthony, where were you going to go?
Varsity Blues.
Yeah. I 46.
I think that it's perfect. Like Varsity.
Or no, 45.
Who? Vanderbeek?
Yeah, he didn't make it. No, he didn't make it.
Oh, that Ron.
He didn't make it to his 46th birthday.
You know, it's funny. We're talking about teen movies. The only issue I've ever had with teen movies, when it comes to the movie side of things, might be most obvious in movies that are like the next one. Now, the next one I feel, Jay, could be a dark horse. We've got Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
That's a good one.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Okay. That's going to be going up against another one that we just mentioned. A very popular movie from the late 90s, Friday Night Lights. Now, Friday Night Lights was like a popular book that ended up turning into a movie.
And a TV show.
And I think it's based on somewhat true like elements.
It was a good movie.
Background.
It's like about the book. I think it's I don't know if it's about a specific team, but it's about high school football in Texas.
Now, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, this is the beginning. Like this is this or Animal House is what sets the tone for teen movie for like the next 5 decades straight. Like, correct?
Or just R-rated comedies in general.
I feel like even though Friday Night Lights is good, Fast Times is just destined to be iconic.
What?
I mean, look at the movie poster.
Look at that.
It's just nostalgic.
It's super nostalgic. I got to go Fast Times, guys.
Fast Times.
It's got to be Fast Times.
Out of the water.
All right. I'm just, it's just one of those things. I like
Cameron Crowe.
Back to the Future. An amazing movie.
That's just a great
You might need to stop there.
Versus Spider-Man Homecoming, which was not a bad teen movie. It was solid. I enjoyed Homecoming because isn't that the one that has all 3 Spider-Mans?
That was No Way Home.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're right. That's No Way Home.
Homecoming does have Iron Man, though.
Spider-Man, Marvel movies, great movies, but
they doesn't
hold a candle.
It's not going to hold a candle to Back to the Future.
No, yeah.
Literally, listen, ladies and gentlemen, on the Tournament of Pop Culture before, not today, just before, we have gone as far as to say, and I will say again, I will bear repeating on this show, Anthony. It bears repeating. Back to the Future is almost perfectly encapsulates the 1980s as they were and to be remembered. That or Lost Boys. Those two movies scream the 1980s clothing-wise, looks-wise, the way they music, the attitude, the act. All of that is in those two movies. And Back to the Future. might be the best movie of the 1980s.
Just in
Michael J. Fox.
It might
I mean-
be the best movie of the other than E.T. E.T.'s up there. Yeah. It might be battling back and forth, but guess who was involved with the making of both of those movies?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So, I got to go Back to the Future.
I think you're correct.
Absolutely.
Right?
All right.
No question.
Moving on. 10 Things I Hate About You. An amazing, funny.
Yeah.
It's our beginnings to Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, right.
The greatest Joker, right?
By far.
By far, the best Joker, right? I really, people always trashed, what's his name's Joker, but I liked it.
Cesar Romero?
No. The other guy, the young guy, the dude who's from 30 Seconds
Leto?
to Mars. Yeah, Jared Leto. I like Jared Leto.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I see you got something chambered over there, sir. I see you chambered up over there, okay?
Just doing my research.
10 Things I Hate About You versus She's All That. And this is going to be a closer battle, in my opinion. I think that you do get a great story in 10 Things I Hate About You. The moral is great. I like the way it lays out. It's very entertaining. It's interesting. I like the acting. I think that they're great. She's All That. Classic scene where she comes down in the dress.
Yeah.
And it's playing Kiss Me by, what's her name?
The Cardigans?
Paul Walker was in that movie.
And Paul Walker was in that movie. That's right. I said it was going to be a tougher battle. I think that they're not too far off in years, though. I would say the 10 Things I Hate About You is like 97, 98, 99. I would say She's All That's like what?
Maybe not 2000.
No, it's like 2000, 2001, right?
Is
Somewhere
it?
in there.
1999.
99. Okay, we're close.
I thought it was.
So they're both 90s movies.
But She's All That's just another one of those like, oh, look at that ugly girl.
Who
and all
just
it is she just has her hair tied
Now,
back
you're
and
right.
her glasses on, and that's
The
it.
librarian.
Yeah.
It's the librarian aspect of
Like,
movie making.
she's hot with her glasses and hair tied back. Of course she looks like that when she takes them off. It's like, come on, knock it off. We had to pretend to feel sorry for her, like, oh, she can't find love.
I'm gonna go with 10 Things I Hate About You. What are you thinking over there, Mr. Nolan?
I'd have to agree. They both came out in 1999.
Okay.
I would
same
I would
time frame.
agree too. She's All That is.
I think the story was better. I think
and I think She's All
Heath
That.
Ledger became a bigger star.
Yeah.
he did.
And She's All That's a movie
Young
that you
Heath
can
Ledger.
get crossed up with.
Paul
other
Walker,
movies
though, wasn't
pretty
no
easy.
slouch himself. I would say they both. I mean, Paul Walker had Fast and the Furious. Like, he made his name off of that. Is good as being Brian in that movie
Like 2 or
as
3 years after
he
that.
did as being the Joker in Batman. The problem with the Joker is it was almost perfectly acted the way people expected the Joker to feel.
Yeah.
That's the problem. 10 Things moves on. Let's see here. House Party. The famous House Party with Kid and
That
Play.
is a classic.
And it is a classic. It's got a great cast. Martin Lawrence is in that movie, too, as one of their friends. It's really well done. A lot of classic hip-hop groups and artists that are inside that movie.
And we're talking about the House Party 1.
We're talking about the original House
The
Party.
original House Party.
House Party. Going up against, you ready?
Yeah.
Karate Kid. Now,
That's not fair.
it's not fair, but you know what? Sometimes,
Oh mercy!
sometimes
No mercy.
you're just going to have to deal with the unfairness. I have to say,
Yes, Sensei.
Someone's getting waxed off.
in this case, I feel like Karate Kid wins that one. I don't feel like that there's much of a
we
like.
might be
no.
done.
If I was to
Have
give
a crane kick from
Listen,
the go, boom, done,
not only
over.
that, if I was to give an honorable mention, to my list of 80s movies that encapsulate and remind you of the 80s,
Yeah.
Karate Kid's one of
right?
those
The
movies.
big
That's on there
arcade
for
they
sure.
go to,
The big arcade,
Yeah.
all of that, okay?
The classic
Rocky
cars.
3 and Rocky
the parking
4,
lot fights.
those movies encapsulate. Like, there's some movies that encapsulate this. I got to go Karate Kid, guys. I like Kid and Play. I think it's a fantastic movie.
After you said Karate Kid, I didn't even remember what you said the first one
Right,
was.
yeah.
That really took it over.
And House Party's more of like
a comedy.
A comedy,
I mean,
it's-
it was like a teen movie.
it's a
but it just
lamer
wasn't.
version of American Pie.
Sure.
That's kind of
Sure.
what that is. Where American Pie is a little harder. It's an R. House Party might
Yeah.
even be an R. I don't know.
I think it is.
Yeah,
I think it is.
but it just doesn't. It's not as gross as like American
Yeah,
Pie.
it definitely didn't have the gross moments. The
Right.
pies.
Straight up humping a
Yeah.
pie.
Now, the last one, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, bit of a classic, a little bit of a reach, a little throwback,
Yeah.
versus, which I feel another dark horse potentially. This bracket right here, the high school drama, has 3 what I consider dark horses that could potentially win the entire tournament.
Yeah.
This next one, The Breakfast Club, is one of those dark horses.
Oh, yeah.
Breakfast Club is a super classic when it comes to the teen movie genre.
Yeah, sorry, classic film, you lose.
If it really needed to be said, what the 1985 school and high school felt like.
Right?
Like in
February
1990, when I start high school, it looks and feels a lot like still 1985 and the way the Breakfast Club looks and feels. It was the jock wore that stuff. The burnout wore that stuff. He was at the smoking section. That person wore that stuff. There's that girl. Oh, there's that girl. Like, it literally laid it out for you. And I'm telling you, man, Breakfast Club,
Detention.
Classic. The detention.
Saturday detention too.
Yeah.
Remember
Guys, this is going to be
that was.
But if you were sitting there saying it was unfair before, Anthony, that's classic.
Classic.
If you're sitting there saying it's unfair before, Anthony, and by the way, every single person in the Breakfast Club lineup became a huge star.
Right.
Every single one of them.
Way or the other, at least for the 80s.
All 6 of them became huge stars. Now,
and this to all the boys I've loved before. I've never seen it, never heard of it.
Sure, no, that's fair.
2018.
It's 2018 one?
2018.
I thought it's a remake then, I think.
Oh, maybe it
could be. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
It's not moving on, I don't think.
It's not moving on. It's not going to beat the like, guys. It's. You said a little bit ago, buddy. You said, "Oh my God, that's not fair."
Yeah.
Well, I don't care about fair because what we're getting ready to go through here in this next round, bro, you're going to be saying it's not fair a lot. Like, you're going to be saying it a lot because we're going to start it off with Ferris Bueller's Day Off against Say Anything.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I feel like Ferris Bueller moves
That's a slam
on that
dunk.
one.
You're really going to have to put something like Karate Kid in front of that. Maybe.
Well, you might get there. Let's see. Varsity Blues.
There's boobs in it.
Versus Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
There's boobs in that too. Sorry.
Now,
Varsity Blues.
Dude, the ones in Varsity Blues. The Varsity Blues moment, though, is great because the whipped cream over them. Like,
I forgot about that. That doesn't even involve seeing the actual boobs.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
like, the Varsity, like,
the actual boobs.
The actuals, the actual ones. They are, listen, Fast Times is great.
Right,
I will say at certain points it seems a little dated if you're watching it. I'm not saying that Varsity Blues doesn't. It's just closer in time period and proximity to us in 2023.
Yeah.
I think
that being said, Fast Times, I think, still set the standard for what it was going to be. Spicoli is your king. Like, Spicoli sets the standard for every movie's going to have this one guy that stands out. He might not be the star of the movie, but he will stand out, or she will stand out.
You know what? If you've ever worked in a mall early in the 90s.
And by the way, it's Etienne, that guy that we were talking about, the Ron guy. He's that guy, literally, for Varsity Blues. Like, he is that guy.
But if you've ever worked in a mall early in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Fast Times is exactly
how it felt.
If I was going to explain to anyone what it was like working in any mall, no matter
mall
how
in America,
big, that's it. How there were territories, everyone knew each other.
Anthony,
just that.
What do you think?
That's a good movie.
Fast Times or Varsity Blues, sir? You seem to be perplexed over there. You're
Fast
thinking.
Times.
What are you thinking about specifically? First?
Nostalgia. We've been on the topic of nostalgia all night.
Was your nostalgia stronger for Fast Times?
It would have to be.
See, I feel like my nostalgia pulls me more personally towards Varsity Blues, but that's because I'm a little bit older than he is.
Yeah.
And I literally, in 1985, when Breakfast Club comes out, I'm 9 years old.
Yeah.
Do you see? Like, it's coming out in my, but I'm walking into the next year. I'll be 10, 11, 12. I'm walking into those teen years as these movies are coming out, and then once I get to Teen Wolf, I'm literally starting high school. He's a freshman in high school. That's the whole point of the movie. Like, he doesn't know if he'll fit in.
Fast Times is one of the first movies I remember being able to rent on a weekend when I had friends over. My parents letting us get Fast Times. Like that.
Okay,
that's
so
a huge movie
I think
for
that
me
everybody,
in my
Anthony,
childhood.
you said Fast Times. You said Fast Times. It's Fast Times.
It's just the 80s are winning
It's
here.
got a great soundtrack. Phoebe Cates scene coming out of the water.
Oh, that's true.
You know?
That's true. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break here on the Q Now. When we come back, we are going to continue on and finish our teen movie bracket, high school teen drama movies, tournament of pop culture. We'll be back with Anthony Nolen right after this. $12:80 a.m. KYRO. Huey Lewis in the news, bringing you back here. The blowtorch of the Midwest, 1280 AM, 105.3 FM. Anthony Nolan's here from the cinema. That's right, he's here from St. Andrews Cinema. He's hanging out with us. We're doing movies here on the Q Now. And he's rocking out to The Power of Love.
Oh, yeah.
And we are in to the next little piece of our teen movie bracket here, Tournament of Pop Culture. Back to the Future.
You know, I bought this at a yard sale on vinyl a couple weeks ago.
This album?
$1. Yeah,
this
the soundtrack, yeah.
Back to the Future versus 10 Things I Hate About You. I think that that's kind of a slam dunk.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a
right,
Back
that's a
to the
squash
Future,
match.
right? That's a squash match, right? Because certain movies, they're just going to stand out a little bit more, and this could be a tough battle right here. I think we've got our first major brutal battle, bro.
We
got a Sophie's Choice coming up right now.
Okay.
Karate Kid, which has had a resurgence in the last few years because of Cobra Kai, and it's popular, and people
very
love
popular.
it.
Oh,
Listen,
I've seen them all.
that is how good Cobra Kai is, and that is a testament to how good the original storyline and everything of the Karate Kid franchise was in the first place.
Even
Then
2 and 3.
30 years later plus, 40 years later.
84.
40 years later plus, it comes out, and it is as successful and has 4 or 5 seasons at this point.
Yeah, now
multiple
it's
seasons.
got Netflix involved.
It's ridiculous. Karate Kid, that influential, versus The Breakfast Club, the iconic Breakfast Club. The one where we made every single member of that cast super famous because we all loved
Brat
it
Pack.
so much. That is the Brat Pack.
Yeah.
It is almost impossible to think of the 80s and pop culture and movies without the Brat Pack or the two Coreys.
You throw Rob
get the
Lowe-
two
If
Coreys.
my dad would have rented both of those movies,
Yes.
Karate Kid.
He would have watched Karate Kid. Now, your dad's a little older.
I would have watched Karate Kid.
You would have watched Karate Kid.
Kick to the face.
He would have watched Karate Kid.
But you know what?
That is a Sophie's Choice for
Right.
real.
You know what? You take Rob Lowe and throw him on Breakfast Club, you've got St. Elmo's Fire. I mean, that Brat Pack controlled the 80s. Until like the late 80s, because then you got Young Guns and Charlie Sheen's now
Oh
there,
my
and Emilio
God!
Estevez is
Yeah,
there.
then they kind of like have their like tag alongs. It
Yeah.
almost leads to the Viper Room and River
Right.
Phoenix, and then
Yeah,
eventually
then-
Leonardo DiCaprio. And you're like,
Yeah.
how did we get to Leo? I don't
P
know.
Squad.
But here's the funny thing: people forget Leo is a young man growing up in Hollywood in 1992, and he's in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
He's with Johnny Depp.
With Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's hanging out with these people that are hanging out with all the Brat Pack and all that.
Yeah.
Dude, the Breakfast Club leads to a lot of players.
Reads too. Yes.
But here's the thing.
Mr. Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi.
That is true.
That's where listen.
Solid.
As a kid,
Morals.
as a kid growing up in 1984, I'm 8 years old. Mr. Miyagi is teaching me morals. He's teaching
Right.
me love. He's teaching me compassion. The sad scene where he remembers his wife who passed away, and the Karate Kid has to come console him, and it's a tough night
Covers
for him,
him
and they
up.
drink and stuff. Like, those are memorable
Well, he drinks.
moments.
They don't drink.
Well,
do
yeah,
they?
he drinks. He drinks. He puts them to bed. But my point
He
is,
was there.
It's like, wait, did I missed something. The Karate Kid's got some red
well, no, in
flags.
the second movie, wait. In the second
was the
movie,
80s?
doesn't he drown his fear with Mr. Miyagi? They drink together because
Do they,
she
maybe?
breaks up with him, or she remember?
Oh, because then he takes him to
to the lighthouse and all that.
Japan.
Yeah, Okinawa and all that.
Yeah.
God, I hate to do this. I really do, man. It's this is painful. I'm gonna go Karate Kid.
I would have probably ended up with Karate Kid.
I hate to say that.
Because you know what? As much as I like the Breakfast Club, it is
But it's
more
literally
of a chick
about
flick.
teen high schoolers. Like, it's literally about teen. So is Karate Kid. They're all teens.
Yeah.
They're in high school.
They're in high school.
But you know
It's-
what? Like the Breakfast
Well,
Club is liked more by girls. Whereas, say, like Weird Science is like more by boys.
Okay.
See what I mean? So I'm not.
All right. Okay.
Choosing Karate Kid isn't.
You're
much
saying
of
like this is more of a 10 things I hate about you situation?
it's not as big of a leap as you think. Choosing the Karate Kid.
All right, we're down to our final 4 for this section. This could be tough. Ferris Bueller's Day Off versus Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Ferris Bueller. Out the gate.
I feel like I'd say Ferris Bueller too.
I would have said Fast Times.
Running home.
I
to
feel
get
like
back
I'd
in
say.
bed.
I feel like, dude, Ferris Bueller.
You know how many
has
days
got
I had like
so
that where my
many-
mom's racing home from
I mean,
work
hey, I'm happy
because
with
she
Ferris
got a call
Bueller
from
moving
school.
on.
Yeah.
I mean, who didn't want to be Ferris Bueller when you watched it? Who didn't
Yeah,
want to like,
you
wow,
know.
I wish I had like what a computer? How's he getting on? Hey, how's he attacking that computer? Like, I had no idea what that was.
All right.
I mean, Ferris Bueller was on the internet in 1985.
I got to
Ferris
go.
Bueller.
I got to go Ferris. I got to go
So
Ferris
smart.
Bueller because on Ferris Bueller I also get Cam. I get Cameron.
Yeah, no,
and
that's a
Cameron's a
character.
fantastic character.
That's a good character.
Fast Times has Spicoli. It has some good characters, but you know, I might see if it's in a different section.
And it's more of an R-rated comedy than a teen movie, really. I mean,
Back to the Future versus The Karate Kid. Now that is a Sophie's choice.
I'm straight out of the gate.
Is
Back
that where
to the
we are
Future.
now?
I'll let you
Man,
guys
we are
fight over it.
there. We are there. And that is.
I'd have to say the same thing. It just the Back to the Future just.
It's so
That-
good.
It was before its time.
It was so good.
The second
Who didn't want a floating hoverboard?
the second you could buy it, I bought it. I bought the book of it and read that anyway for
But
some
Karate
reason.
Kid, like Back to the Future, like Back to the Future, like I said, the movie that literally identifies me to the 80s. I honestly agree with that. That nostalgia is so tough. 85, I'm 9 years old. It literally screams my life. Like a Friday night.
And it's a movie you can watch at 9 years old. It's PG.
A Friday
so
night in
good.
July is what Back to the Future feels like to me. A Friday
go.
night
Right.
in July. And Back to the Future, but Karate Kid, I was a little younger.
That's
it
like
just,
October,
It
though.
was like little. It's almost, that's like telling
That's
Sesame.
literally based in October. You know where he fights.
Guys, let me explain this to you. By us taking Back to the Future over Karate Kid, we are literally like looking.
we're not doing
we're
it halfway.
looking Big Bird in the face and telling him he sucked. We're telling him compared to that guy over there, Big Bird, you sucked, and we love Big Bird. Man,
Right.
Big Bird loved you. Big Bird loved you. He loved me. Elmo loved you. Like you telling like Maria. Or one of those members of Sesame Street that they suck.
Not going to your
Man,
store.
that's
Yeah.
not Mr. Hooper.
You're fired.
You hate Mr. Hooper? Get out of here. Man, this is such a bad.
Back to the Future is just too good.
I got to go Back to the Future though. It's
And
Back to the
just
Future,
too
for
Getting-
sure.
good.
Getting the album at the yard sale, Back to the Future becomes one of those special albums that I have on cassette,
It's just so
vinyl,
classic.
and CD.
Nothing against Karate Kid.
All right,
Nothing
ladies and
against-
gentlemen, we are there. The precipice. We are at it. We have made it to this finale. We've got Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a very, very strong, good comedy, great actors and actresses, solid all the way around, versus another extremely well acted, solid acting all the way around. I think that pound for pound, characters for characters, I think Doc Brown matches up against anyone who's in Ferris Bueller. I think Ferris matches up against Doc Brown
Give me
easily.
the DeLorean.
The DeLorean,
You know what? My choice might not even be the
the
one.
DeLorean with the other, with the Ferrari
Well,
through the window.
might-
Like,
might not even be the one I like the most.
But there's no
my,
terrorist
But my
in
reasoning
Ferris Bueller.
is sound.
all right. So, how do you guys want to do it? Who wants to go first? Who wants to take the Sophie's Choice first in this one?
I'll jump out of the plane. You guys,
You're
can hang
going to jump out of the plane.
out. All right. I am going Ferris Bueller.
You're going to go Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and why?
Because of the connection to high school, the ridicule of the principal. It's just
It screams high school.
It's high school teen movie.
That's
whereas
Back to the
Back to the
Future.
Future is more of a science fiction.
High school though, teen movie
It's
because
high
he's
school,
in high
but
school.
he's a
They're in high
school
school.
kid.
Yeah,
but
he
it
brings high
involves-
school with him.
But it's high school.
everywhere he
It's
goes.
even in back to
in the 50s, it's high school,
Yeah.
but it involves an adult too, like a lot of the way.
Right, you're like where his
Ferris
dad,
Bueller's
like
just the kids, they're out.
Yeah.
But I like Back to the Future probably. I mean, if I was
You
gonna
said
pick
Ferris
one,
Bueller.
I did say Ferris Bueller, but I would probably watch Back to the Future first.
And
but it's
I
not that type
would
of
pick
film.
Back to the Future. I am not against Ferris Bueller. Back to the Future, I think, is just so strong. It's got some really super iconic aspects to it. I feel like in the long run, both movies are fantastic, and I
Now-
would recommend either one of them. I think Doc Brown's character kind of draws me out a little bit and makes me love
Yes,
Back to the Future a little bit more.
Now, if this was just 80s movies, I'd probably go Back to the Future.
If it was straight up 80s movies, it'd have to be Back to the Future
Yeah.
over Ferris Bueller.
I would have went that way then.
But at the same point, I'm going teen movie.
But even then,
Even
yeah,
in the
he's a
1980s,
teen.
movie for movie. So I'm going to Back to the Future. He went Ferris Bueller. You went to Anthony Nolen, St. Andrews Cinema. You have the final say, sir. Whatever you say becomes the winner of this tournament of pop culture,
And
sir.
maybe potentially
And
played
potentially played one day at the St. Andrews
on
Cinema.
a random Saturday, and you can come.
Back to the Future.
It's Back to the Future,
All right,
ladies
well,
and
yeah.
fine with
gentlemen.
And Doc Brown.
There it is. And here's the funny thing: you were Ferris Bueller all the way.
Yeah.
You were wearing that badge.
You know what, though?
All the way through this entire tournament.
Yeah.
And when it was all said and done, you chose Back to the Future.
I've
I
actually
dropped it. I dropped the badge.
I've actually had Back to the
I
Future
kicked the
on.
car out the window.
You did.
And fast forward to the part where he goes back in time and meets Doc.
Yeah.
I've literally I could just watch that part too.
So cool.
It's just there's so many.
And it was so dynamic. That movie was so dynamic,
Yeah.
had so many different plots
Yeah,
and
I'm
twists and
perfectly
timelines.
okay with them winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely wins.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure having Anthony Nolen talk to us when it comes to, the cinema, as well as movies, as well as the tournament of pop culture. All of it seems to keep wrapping back around to this wonderful experience that you guys need to check out here in the St. Louis area. Anywhere you live, it doesn't matter.
No.
Once the
Coming
events
back,
start
people.
popping off, we need you guys to come back. And you got a list of events there, do you not, sir?
We have a few.
Why don't you list some of those off? Why don't you run us through a few?
So before I do that, when we launched the page on the St. Andrews Cinema, there was so much influx in the community wanting to help. We were touched. They said, create a GoFundMe, create a fundraiser. Let's help you get us back into the cinema, right? So we did that.
Fair enough.
We have a flea market craft fair on May 20th from 9 to 3. It's on a Saturday. It's 2 weeks away.
A flea market.
A flea market craft
Hey,
fair.
that's fun.
That's one
I bet I could find more vinyl there.
week after the Tony Costa Memorial Battle Royal down at South Broadway Athletic Club. Do you like pro wrestling, sir?
You people are
I do.
spoiled in this.
I am a professional wrestler. I have been for many, many a year. In fact, there are not many in St. Louis. Me and Randy are pretty much the oldest dudes doing it in the St. Louis area. The friends for years. We do what we do in our own respective ways. He's a little bit higher up on the food
Parking
chain.
lot championships.
That's me. I would be a parking lot championship member. Potentially, I'd love to do a match in a parking lot. That'd be awesome.
Wouldn't that be fun?
I
Right in the
have.
parking lot.
I've
throw the
actually
ring
have.
up.
I've wrestled in a battle royal in the middle of a street in a town square. I've wrestled in a parking lot before. I've wrestled in a lot of things. I've been pile driven into the middle of South Broadway and 7th Avenue downtown.
Excellent spot.
Yours is May 20th, though, right?
Yeah, this one's May 20th. And then we also have the Great St. Andrews Cinema Skate-a-thon presented by Flustered Mustard, Friday, May 26th from 9:45 p.m. to 12:30 a.m.
Now, what's that going to be?
So we're going to auction off. This was something else they asked for was various items. Because it went through a fire, there wasn't really much left over. But we have old 35 millimeter reels. We have the tables. We have the old
chairs.
We have some chairs left over. The reels that sat on the reels. That's the actual
the
cages.
machine.
Yeah.
The film machine or whatever.
Film machines. There's all kinds of old things that instead of getting
projector?
rid of them.
That's what you were looking for.
A few of them, yeah. We have a few projectors, 35 millimeter projector cameras.
Okay.
Just some stuff to auction off. Maybe even the organ.
Even an organ.
Maybe even the organ.
Maybe even the organ.
The organ, the St. Andrew Cinema organ.
All right.
That'd be cool. Pull that thing out at a party. Be like, hey, come in my room.
Look at this.
There,
Play the organ.
That would be awesome.
Chicks would be like, yeah.
Well, Mr. Nolan, I would like to first thank you for being on our show.
Thank
we
you for
really do
having me.
appreciate that.
Thank you,
The show is not over. Our friend Anthony, though, is probably going to take a leave of absence because when we start talking politics, now you're more than welcome to stick around if you'd like. You could jump in, or you could just put your 2 cents in if you want here or there, or you can kind of just call it for whatever it is. Would you like to stick around, or is this something where you're going to take out?
I'll probably take out.
He's going to take out, ladies and gentlemen. That is Anthony Nolan over there. And make sure you go. Where's the website that they should go to if they want to find out more information about everything coming up?
Right now, go on to social media on Facebook. That's going to be the key right now until we get everything up and running. And then we'll have more to come.
What we should do is we should get you standrewcinema.com, right? Buy the website. And then all you got to do, you already have that?
We have that, but it's www.sac.com.
Okay, SAC.
Yeah, St. Andrew Cinema. So it's not live yet. So
all you got to do is forward it and then send it straight to the forward for the Facebook group. And there you go. You can just tell everybody to go to sac.com, and then it would take them right to the Facebook group every single time. And there would be no problems for you whatsoever.
There we go.
Look at that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you, Anthony Nolan. We're going to be taking a quick break. And when we come back, more with myself and Jason Kull. We'll be back on the Qnow right after this. AM KYRO Duran Jason Kull together. Welcome back to the Qnow. Check us out at theqnow.com, THEQNOW.com. Every single Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you were just listening, Back to the Future is the tournament of pop culture champion for the high school drama division of our teen movie bracket.
Final Four participant.
That's right, a Final Four participant. Now, I got a few topics I want to talk about here before we get out of here.
Yeah.
A little politics, Jay, if you can handle it for a few minutes.
News side.
Did you see the video of the guy getting choked out on the New York subway that ended up getting killed?
Yeah.
So a gentleman came on to a New York City subway train, evidently in a suicidal kind of mindset. Acting crazy, complaining to people, saying specifically before it happened that he was not afraid to die.
Yeah.
And he wanted this and that, and he wanted the world to this, that, and he gets into an argument with a 24-year-old Marine.
Yep.
The man decides that he's had enough, puts the guy in a chokehold, but doesn't let go, I guess.
Yeah, he just
and now
cut off his hair, and he never came back.
He killed him.
Yeah.
This 24-year-old Marine is being looked at as this hero, which he potentially could be. I'm not sure.
Who knows what the guy was going to do?
I'm not sure, ladies and gentlemen. But I will say this. I don't know if he needed to kill the guy.
No,
I feel like he could have let off. I feel like he could have let up off the chokehold a little bit.
Once he felt him.
Like limp up.
You're going
to feel the guy. You're going to feel the guy give. Exactly. So you could let go. And obviously you let go at a certain point because you didn't just keep holding him even after he was dead.
Yeah, you throw that on someone and let him go, they're not going to get up in that crazy.
Would you manslaughter or murder?
It would probably end up being manslaughter. I bet they charged
it has
him
to
with
be
voluntary manslaughter. That he
it has
grabbed
to be
the guy and choked him, and he knew he could die, but he did it
because
anyway.
there's witnesses to this. They're going to corroborate the Marine story.
It's not.
The problem is
Texas.
the optics of this of a 24-year-old white man killing a black man.
Not cool.
Live on the internet when it's shown for everybody on viral videos. That is the bad optics of this situation.
But I don't know. Does New York have like a stand your ground type thing to even let this guy off the hook?
No, but they have a bunch of liberals that will yell and scream and jump up and down. They really do.
They do.
There's
he'll probably get charged. I don't know if he'll get convicted, but he'll definitely get charged with something.
Do you know Steven Crowder?
Yeah, he's such a cool dude.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about this Steven Crowder divorce and exposing himself.
It's just getting worse and worse for him.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen. Former employees of conservative commentator Steven Crowder have accused him of creating a hostile work environment and engaging in inappropriate behavior, including exposing himself to staffers. The accusations were made in a recent report by Vox, which spoke with several anonymous sources who worked for Crowder's media company, Louder with Crowder. The report alleges that Crowder repeatedly made sexual suggestive comments to employees, touched them without their consent, and created a toxic workplace environment. Crowder has denied the allegations and called them false and defamatory.
Yeah, true and reliable, more than likely.
He showed himself.
Yeah, well, you see
exposing himself.
Well, you see him in the video with his wife. That's not a giant leap to think he would run around the
No,
office
he wasn't.
Out of the wiener.
I saw the video with his wife where they're yelling on the back porch.
Right? What
I get it.
cruel
I don't
weasel.
think. I don't. Okay, now hold on. I'm not going to defend Steven Crowder by any means.
No.
But I will say this. I didn't see a really abusive situation going on the porch. I just saw a guy that was agitated with his wife. She was agitated with him. He was saying mean things to her.
Yeah.
She was just fed up with it and wanting to get done with it. And I wasn't seeing like this real abusive attack. Now, everybody's trying to turn it into this abusive thing. I think that he is an abusive person,
well, he's
and I'm
mentally
sure
abusing her.
I'm sure that these things are in place. I don't know if that example is the best example of what everybody's trying to claim. Now,
it's pretty
the other allegations, though,
well, that's
when
obviously
mixed
worse.
with this, shows that there could be tendencies for him to fly off. Now, he's human.
Yeah.
Okay, it's video camera footage taken by someone who has access to their internal footage.
Yeah, it's from like a Ring doorbell type situation.
Yeah, so it has to either be his wife or Louder
one
with
of these guys
Crowder.
that work for him that knows he's a creep. I mean,
How would they have access to his personal private home security
maybe
system?
they know, I don't know, to pull video for something. Maybe they just have access to his account.
I think it was Crowder trying to like just throw it out there to get people talking.
Get some bad boy money.
Dude, that's all they do. Listen, he
might
knows
be dumb enough to think that would work.
He knows that his ship is slowly coming to an end.
It's
there's
holes
done.
in that boat.
That boat is sinking, and he knows that he's losing his credibility. Why not throw it out there? Try to create a viral sensation.
Yeah.
Pull a Tucker Carlson. See if somebody will hire you, bring you over here or there. But here's the problem, Steven. Nobody wants you. From the first time I ever saw Steven Crowder, I knew immediately he was a liar and a piece of trash. And the reason I found out about him was many years before Project Veritas, many years before knowing that James O'Keefe guy and working with him on stuff, he went to the Lincoln Memorial with James O'Keefe. And while they were there, they decided to look at the rules for while you're at the Lincoln Memorial and purposely in front of the police officers. Now, YouTubers do this all the time.
Yeah.
Okay? But they're doing it because they think that it's funny to try and like do something stupid, like let's do this bad thing in front of a police officer. Steven Crowder and those guys that day were not caring if a police officer was there. They went and read the list of rules to not break simply because they wanted to break rules.
Yeah.
Whereas the guys
cool.
are going to break a rule, they might do it at the Lincoln Memorial in front of a police officer, and they do something stupid, and then it's on YouTube.
Well, they're
To
provocative
go
on purpose.
literally to the wall, look at the rules, and then videotape yourself breaking them, but doing it in front of a police officer to try and incite that individual, which they eventually do.
Yeah.
They get told that they have to leave. It becomes a big argument, a big tizzy. It helps Steven get more eyes because it's all about getting eyes. It's all about just being it. But even Candace Owen has come out and said that Crowder's a piece of trash.
Yeah, I saw that.
But if Candace Owens telling people you're a piece of trash, then
Wow,
you must be a pretty big piece of trash.
You're either a giant piece of trash or
the king of all trash.
or a really successful liberal.
Right.
That'd be the only reason she would call you
She
trash.
would only call you trash. Like she is trash on a different
and if
level.
you're a conservative and she's calling you trash, then you're real trash. She's not likely to eat her own.
It's crazy.
Right?
I don't relish in the fact that he is losing all of this, but I will say this.
Know who he is.
I will say this. Yeah, most people barely know who he is, and he's earned all the ire that he's got.
Yeah.
He can deal with it. Kind of like Elon.
Yeah.
Elon is ridiculous. He's now changed the Twitter thing to say it just says that you're verified.
Now there's no more $8.
Yeah, it doesn't say, oh, this is a paid
you
for.
know who they are, but
Right, but that's the problem. You know who they are. And now, if you're famous and you got over 1 million people and people weren't paying attention, you look like you just pay for Twitter too. Everybody knows that you guys just pay for Twitter because that's how you get the blue check mark.
Well,
it's now out there in the mainstream. It's part of pop culture. You can't take it back. It's done.
Yeah. Well, like we said that saying someone was subscribed to something they're not, who's famous, was potentially a liable situation for him.
Which is why he just switched it over to
and
say
that's why he did that.
it's verified.
Yeah.
But he's also kind of giving up on that, trying to market it to people as a value buy at this point. Like it's if you wanted it, you would have got it already.
Yeah.
You didn't want it. And the problem is all the big players that drive to people to your website. I still talk to people on there, but not nearly the way I was.
I mean, he paid $44 billion for that. There's
a lot of marketing.
How many $8 people in the world does he think they're? I mean,
like we said,
there's no way this
you got
guy's making money.
$16 million that you've made in total off of $8 purchases,
right?
And you owe $44 billion to these people, man. Like these numbers don't even match.
Nobody
up.
likes you anymore, and we're just waiting for something really easy to come out, and we're gone.
It's so odd.
Right?
Bernie Sanders, Jason, says the U.S. should confiscate 100% of any money Americans make above $999 million. So if you hit $1 billion, he goes, they can survive just fine. What do you think?
Right.
What do you think?
You know what? They do something similar to this in England, I do believe.
Confiscate the money?
Well, I guess.
Does it matter whether we confiscate it or not? Like now, if we take the money from them, I guess the idea is that money still is valuable and stays within society, so we all play from it. Or if you just remove the value of their money past $999, like you've almost given them a goal that if they cap out at this, then there's nothing more they can make, and it's fine. Like it's like okay, cool, but then does that mean you're just not printing money anymore? We're putting a cap on $999.
Find a way to make it more appealing and not seem like such a ripoff. But what they could do, and this might maybe fix some markets and some costs, and things may just get cheaper because all the money's not consolidated in like 10 places, and goods might get cheaper. So making $1 billion is going to be like maybe 2 or 3 that you had to give up.
Sure.
So I mean, really, like.
I don't have a problem with that. I know people go, oh, there you go. You're a fascist, socialist piece of trash. No, actually, I really just think that if you got $999 million, you're really not worried about anything money. Like, guys, everybody lives and works to make money to pay their bills. For me to get a few shekels to get my kid a basketball jersey or a football jersey or just something cool for him to like, I have to work.
Right.
This guy over here with $999 million does not have to work because everybody knows that if you just get $1 million in the bank, you could live off of that for the rest of your life in most cases. Well, and most people could.
Most of
like
those,
paying all your bills and because electricity only costs so much, your car, your gas only costs so much, food only costs so much, your house only costs so much. Once it's paid off, it's paid off. Like $1 million you can make go.
Well, and these billionaires that are going to scream about this, they more than likely own companies that have caps on how much certain positions can make.
Sure.
Like they have that for their business. Why not put that on them? You can only make this much money. After that, it's gone. It's into, and then you know what? Maybe we get health care for everyone. Maybe they get that. That's a cost that
maybe
that's a cost they don't have to cover anymore.
The health care for everyone. And by the way, you guys are always all up in arms about government control of this and that. How about we keep taking this money, stocking it into a private equity, and then we turn around and we take that private equity and turn it into the universal health care plan that we're talking about, and you guys can make it as cool and privatized as you want, but you give it to everybody in, at minimum, the United States.
Yeah.
For us to all have health care here.
Yeah.
Like, and you guys become these, like, businessmen at that point become these saviors that are helping society and showing compassion and being good people. And they fixed everything. And you're not these jerks that are just constantly whining about Joe Biden and whether Hunter Biden, which, by the way, if I could read one thing to all of you before we get out of here, And it was really great having Anthony on the show.
No, yeah, it was
today.
fun. It was fun. I
Really
like
fun.
that
I hope that
theater's
we're.
coming back.
I hope he comes back on and we're. But if I could, on the Hunter Biden thing, Republicans, you still don't get it. Investigate him all you want. Okay, if he's guilty, we think he should go to prison also.
Yeah.
Like, you guys don't understand.
law.
We don't worship Joe Biden or his family because we're not a cult that treats life like a football game.
Right.
Like we're not we don't run around cheering for anyone to win or lose. We weren't happy that Donald Trump loses. We're not fans of Donald Trump. We would have rather had Joe Biden as president. And I'm sure that can be said for a lot of people in this country.
Yeah, at least 7 million more.
70 million, right?
7. Yeah, what did he get?
7
million more. 81.
Oh yeah, 81 to 54 or whatever it was. Or yeah, to 74.
Yeah.
Correct. But your you versus them mentality is childish at best, violent at worst. By the way.
Yeah.
Like literally violent at worst, but childish at best.
Well, I just don't understand why. Why Hunter Biden? What does this help anyone? Like what? Why are you doing this?
We are also Americans, and we also always hold our own accountable when they F up. Unlike your Christo-fascist white nationalist cult that you guys got running over on the other side of things. Yeah. So I want you all to understand as we're leaving here on this episode of the Q Now that Hunter Biden doesn't matter. Like you guys think, but we get it. But Jay, you want me to answer your question? You're like, why they're doing it?
Yeah, like why? Like,
Obama.
You think so?
It's still listen. You don't understand. That black man getting elected to a position of power in the United States. How dare he ever?
Right?
How dare he ever?
Still can't believe
Dude,
that.
in their minds, the guys, the Aubrey case where they ran the guy down in the middle of the street and shot him with a shotgun.
You guys are martyrs.
That's literally all they think in their heads as they think about Obama all the time. Right. That's what they wish they could have done. They've lost it. Ladies and gentlemen, Republicans have lost it. They really have gone
You're right.
off the deep end. And like we said, violent at worst, childish at best, but they're violent at worst.
When Marjorie Taylor Greene is basically your number one person in the House, you're done. I mean, she's an absolute moron.
And they're only
true moron.
And Kevin McCarthy's only doing this because he really thinks that by holding out, eventually others will come around to his thinking.
Well,
and then they'll turn on Marjorie Taylor Greene. By the way, he's not really wrong. Eventually, Marjorie Taylor Greene's going to piss off the wrong player.
Oh, she did in that one committee.
And it's going to end up costing her the entire House. And don't worry, they're leopards that like to bite their own faces off. So you're going to be just fine, America.
The committee chair from her party, he censored her and struck her words from the record, and she couldn't talk the rest of the hearing.
Oh, man. I swear to God, this world is just, it's like sometimes, dude,
make it up.
I don't even know where to go with like things in life anymore, dude. Time for us to get out of here on this episode of the Q Now. We want to thank Anthony Nolen from St. Andrews Cinema.
Yes.
Make sure you check out the South Broadway Athletic Club. Has a Tony Costa Memorial Battle Royal tournament and over-the-top rope Battle Royal show May 13th, 7 p.m. at the beautiful South Broadway Athletic Club. Come out and support professional wrestling. I'm the former commissioner there. I don't know if you knew that.
I did.
A member of the Kings of Revolution.
That I also knew. Who's
currently taking a break. That's right.
Yep.
So, come out and support that. Also, check us out at theqnow.com, TheQNOW.com. Old stuff, new stuff, and everything in between. That's going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next time here on News Radio KYRO and NewsRadioKYRO.com.